Alright, let's start a reading vlog. So, I am going to continue on with this Legends of Thesmar series, I think it is. So I'm gonna pick up Vows and Ruins, and then the plan is to also finish the Elsewhere Express. And then we'll see what else we read because, it's always a toss-up because I am a mood reader. But anyways, there you go. So, I'm like 75% of the way through the Elsewhere Express. And our main character, Raya, is getting on my nerves. I'm just like, girl, please. Please. Try to move on with your life. Like, try to accept things. She has reached, like, peak Delulu to the point that I am just kind of annoyed. Because what the fuck you mean you can't tell? You're obviously being played for a fool, and it's so painfully obvious, and I am just like annoyed. And I don't know, and there's like a lot of I'm blushing at you and you're blushing at me, and I'm like, I don't need this. I hella don't want it, I don't need it, and I don't like it. So I don't know, like, so far I'm just not the most into this book anymore. Like, it was a little bit more interesting at first, but basically everybody just needs therapy. Everybody just needs therapy, and everybody's finally seeing that there's a lot of bullshit. Amethyst also does not care for this. But yeah, there's just so much bullshit. Like, everybody's lying. It's all smoke and mirrors, and something's obviously gonna give. Like, I don't know. It just the basic formula is formulating. But yeah. So there's just a lot of bullshit. There's just a lot of bullshit. But anyways, let's see if I finish this today. I would like to be done, but yeah, not my favorite. Not my favorite so far. Okay, so last night I finished reading the Elsewhere Express, and like, I did not like our main character, and it just, some stuff was so painfully obvious, and just like the ending was some choose your own adventure type shit basically. I'm like, it was too convenient. And then, like, I just, Raya gets on my nerves because this whole book, I imagine, is like, I'm not expert, but I'm gonna guess that this is what like maladaptive daydreaming is, where you'd rather live in a delusional land in your head than live in reality, and just like, girl just needed, all of this could have been avoided if girl just went to therapy. She literally just needed therapy. I'm like, we're gonna go on a whole adventure in delusion and bullshit, instead of just go to therapy. But I don't know, like, I mean, like, the vibes of this train, like, it's magical, it's fun, it's like creative as hell, it's like, it's like a fun environment and all that shit. But like, your pain and your sorrow is never supposed to find you. You're not supposed to be dragging that on the train. You're supposed to forget everything that happened before, and like, it's just not, it's like a half-life. It's not realistic. And then the whole time she's like, I don't know, she's just hanging on so hard to something that she's had like years to process and hasn't, basically. Because at the beginning of the book, they explain that her brother passed away and her parents basically raised her for like spare parts to heal him, and then it didn't work out, but she like still, and he still died, but like she's like still hung up on that. I'm like, girl, you've had so many years to accept that he's gone, and then you need to move on with your life. Like, you know what I mean? And she's just stuck. Girl's just stuck. But yeah, could have been avoided. She just went to therapy. Like, none of this needed to happen. None of this needed to happen. But like, I get it on one hand, but on the other hand, oh my god, it just made her so insufferable. Like, she refuses to see the truth for nothing. And then like, time just doesn't exist in this. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, that's the part that made it too convenient for me. Is like, all the like time loops and shit. It's like, you're just gonna live this again and again and again until every day, like, oh, you can just be here forever. Like, what? So nobody ever dies. except they do, because then they get separated. Like, I don't know. It was a lot of bullshit, okay? It was a lot of bullshit. It was very creative and the vibes were immaculate, but it's just a lot of bullshit. I was just so frustrated with the main character. Like, I couldn't. I was just like, Raya, I swear to God, girl, you have got to live in reality. You have to got to come back to reality. So I don't know. I just got frustrated. But anyway, so that's done, and another arc in the bag. So so um besides that, I also started an audiobook. So I have been listening to the audiobook of Terms and Conditions, which is the second one in the Dreamland Billionaire series. So I liked the first one because, I mean, they're kind of cheesy and kind of like very unrealistic. But basically it's the there's like three brothers that like run and own and all that shit to like their Dreamland parks, which is basically like the Disney World parks and shit. So they basically own like Disney, and so this is basically like if three brothers ran the Disney World parks and owned them and all that shit, and their family owned it, and like they are kind of all assholes. I mean, yeah, they're rich assholes. And this one is no different. Like this one, this dude is emotionally constipated in this one. Like on the other one, it was like, I don't know, like he was like happy to like basically get told some shit. And this one, I mean, all these dudes are kind of the same, where like they like when the girl is telling them like to get their head out of their ass basically. And so this brother is no different in that sense. Like he's like emotionally constipated and she's over here like oh whatever. And but then like okay, because the girl in this one, like his stipulation, like all basically the story for all of these is that their grandfather that owned everything like passed away. In order to get their inheritance, they have to meet certain conditions from his will. And so this one is for the brother that has to get married and have a kid. He has to get married and have a kid in order to get his inheritance. And so in order to get his inheritance, he was trying to find women to marry, which this is the most unrealistic part, is that like thinking that there isn't, like he tried to find wives and then they just like cancel because he's such an asshole. And I'm like, I don't think you understand like how fake that is, because it doesn't matter how much of an asshole a dude is. If a gold digger wants that money, they will put up with a ridiculous amount of shit for it. Like, it doesn't matter how much of an asshole you are. They will stay for that fucking money. That's the part that's unrealistic, okay? If somebody's marrying you for money, they do not give a shit, okay? Especially because it's, like, contractual. And I think it's, like, you can even get, like, divorced after a while. Like, after he gets the inheritance and all that shit. But it's just, like... That's the unrealistic part, thinking that somebody would not stay just for the fucking money. So... Anyway, so that, like, the ones that he found fell through because he's an asshole. As if that would realistically happen. That wouldn't. But, then he finally admits that he, like, has, well, to himself. He's only admitting to himself that he's, like, basically into his assistant. But his assistant's just like, well, they fell through. And he's like, well, there has to be a wedding. And so, like, now he's marrying his assistant, who he's, like, secretly into. But she's not really into him, except, like, I guess she's coming around on him. But, like, he's been secretly into her this whole time. But he's like, no, I can't mess it up because it's working. Blah, 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 blah. Emotionally constipated. But anyway, so this is fun to listen to because their banter is good. Because, like, he's obviously an asshole. And she's like, clocks him on his shit. But then she also, okay, this is the thing that is also, like, super crazy to me. Is, like, she's like, oh my God, he's so good at lying. I love that. Like, what? I would never. You know. Being a good liar is not an attractive quality, if you're asking me. But she's into it, but she's also good at lying. So they're very well matched in this. That they are both like they'll lie, they'll scheme, they'll manipulate, do whatever. So at least they're matching each other's vibes in that, because no, like if an average dude that didn't have a ton of money was doing that kind of shit, you would just assume he was a plain asshole and you would drop his ass. If you had enough self-respect, you would be like, no, you're an asshole. and you probably a cheating asshole. Like, but you know, you gotta suspend some disbelief with this series, especially I find. So there you go. It's one of those books where you really, it's fun as long as you don't think too hard, but at the same time it's like I'm amused. So I'm gonna keep going with that. But yeah, so far that's a fun read at least. Even though like also the audiobook recording of it, since I'm listening to the audiobook, it's a little cheesy, like the way that they're saying it. Like some voice actors or like narrators or whatever, I swear that they just kind of go for the overkill. And this is one time where I feel like some of it is a little bit overkill and they're making it kind of more cheesy. They're leaning into the cheese, maybe a little bit more than I need them to, but you know, whatever. It's like it's still fun, so we're just gonna keep going with this. Okay, so it's been a while since I updated this vlog because I have, you know, been going through it and it didn't feel like it. So anyways, basically, I finished Terms and Conditions and like that ended up not being what I was expecting. Like the people in that book ended up being maybe like a little bit more conniving and manipulative than I was kind of hoping for in like a contemporary romance. Like that's the kind of stuff I kind of expect more from like a dark romance, and so the vibe didn't like quite hit for me with that one. But and I don't know, like the romance wasn't as good. Like I kind of had a hard time in some parts like getting into it. But then I don't know, like it was kind of hard to explain. But anyways, I didn't like it as much as the first one basically. But at the same time, like you know, it's still like a fun-ish read, just not as fun I think as the first one was. So but yeah, I'm obviously still gonna continue with that series. It's only one more book, and that one is I think the third one is the second chance romance. So we're gonna see how that one goes. And I think that brother seems to have a little bit more personality than the first two, so we're gonna see, because the first two, they're definitely like, oh my god, it's just like so serious. I think that was the thing, is like this brother from this book, he was like probably the most serious. um yeah, he's just real hardcore. He's like real kind of emo. he's he's just, dude's got a lot of issues. Fair enough though, they do explain why, but yeah, I don't know, it's kind of depressing. Kind of depressing, but so that was that. um then, believe it or not, I finished Glint finally. um and just like like it was a whole lot of nothing until like the very end, and then it popped off and I was like, oh my god, this saved the whole damn book. The ending, the last like what, like 85%, something like that, the very end, the shit that happened at the very end finally saved the damn book for me and saved the series. And now I'm like, okay, now we have like a plot again. And I'm like, can we please? Because oh my god, this was like the longest fucking book. I mean, I kind of understand why it's like that, but at the same time, I'm like, man, like I almost DNF so many times, but people were like, no, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. And then everybody was hyping up the end. I was like, I need to know what's happening. Yeah, I guess I'm glad that I like stuck with it, because now it's interesting. Now I'm like, okay, like I still disliked Arn for most of the book, and then at the very end, I'm like, oh, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So I think the next one's Gleam, so I've already downloaded that, and yeah, I mean, I still gave that book like 3 stars. I know a lot of people were giving it higher ratings just because the ending finally did something, but I'm like, no, if I almost DNF this book, like I gave it a 3, because it's not like it was a hard read, but it was a nothing. There was just so much nothing, really. I mean, it was very like just a little bit of her questioning, like Aaron starting to question things, and I'm like, I still feel like this could have been condensed. But anyways,
Because that's the thing about, this is the thing that gets me about the series so far, is that like stuff like that will be like drawn out forever, but then the actual stuff will be just like, we'll just sneak in this little detail that we didn't tell you until the very end of this book, and I'm like, you were just saving all the good shit for the very end, when you, I feel like, could have been sprinkled in and I would have been more entertained throughout the book to keep it going, you know? But anyways, yeah, you find out a lot of stuff. So a lot of stuff that, you know, we were told, I believe, in the first book was not real. And stuff like that. Like, you know, things get changed. I almost feel like it's an unreliable, I mean, it's not an unreliable narrator type thing, but at the same time, I'm like, what else are we gonna find out is not real? Or, like, not accurate to what was set up, you know what I mean? I'm just like, what else? What else? Because we get little snippets back and forth, and I'm like, where was this information before? You're just leading us all the way astray. So, um, kind of, kind of. I mean, it's not like how the book's supposed to really be, but it like is, and I don't know. Anyways, I'm hooked enough for the next one, I guess. So I think the next one's Gleam. I already downloaded it on my Kindle. I'm like, I guess here we go again. But I'm just like, I'm really, now that Arn is having some like character growth, I'm like, please, girl, please, pretty please. Anyways, okay, I also started reading some more. But these I have physical copies. Hold on. Okay, so first off, I tried reading this, A Mastery of Monsters, and I don't know what I thought it was gonna be, but not this. And so, this one I actually ended up DNFing because, like, I don't know, I got like, what, 30% away or something, and it just was way too similar to something I've read recently. Like, I mean, it's not like a bad book, but it does really remind me of, which one? A a Ravenous Fate, or This Ravenous Fate, something like that. That one with the vampires. Like I said, I think their name called something else than that. But anyways, it's like basically there's plenty enough overlap in this that like it is its own story, but it's also similar enough that I don't know, like it's just I couldn't get into it because there's too much similarity. Like I think I needed more time between reading that and then coming to this, and then it would have been good. But yeah, if you haven't read that, you might be into this more than I was. But yeah, so it's not that it's bad. It's just I think the timing was bad for me with this one. And then so that's gonna go back to the library. So then after that, I started reading A Deadly Education, and I'm almost done with this. Let's see. Yeah, like I'm pretty far in there. But and so I think I'm gonna finish this pretty soon. But this is also a little bit different than I expected. Like our main character is kind of interesting. So there is the school. But Deadly Education is a very accurate name because like, well, first off, this book was kind of like jokey in the beginning because like our main character, she's like very kind of like sarcastic. Like she's an outcast and she knows it, and she's just kind of like whatever, like. But she's very knowledgeable. Like she's still very smart, and like you know, she understands her situation. And so basically there's a bunch of like kids that do magic at this school, and so you know, it's a magic school type thing, except it's like hardcore. Like there's like a bunch of monsters in the school that like are trying to eat them, and there's basically like a lot of ways you can die in the school from people's magic, because there are like regular magic users that use mana, and then there's the magic users that can like steal your life force for magic, and she technically can do that, but you know, her mom like taught her not to do it. But there are kids that do that at this school, so yeah, you can end up dying by the other students, you can end up dying from the monsters, you can die from a lot of stuff in this school, like a lot. Well, like one dude I think like shoved a dude into the void, because the rooms just have like voids too. It's crazy. There's a picture actually. Hold on. But yeah, she like gets spells out of the void and stuff. They pop out and then you throw it back in. Stuff like that. So it's crazy. This world, like, it's kind of crazy that they go to the school and try to find like, I don't know, like enclaves to join afterwards if they even live through it. Because God, there's just a crazy amount of ways to die. Oh my God. Like, yeah, here's the main character. Her name's Galadriel, but they call her Elle. But yeah, you can see the void in the back of her room like that. And since she's actually really powerful, the monsters they try to attack her and stuff. So she has to she gets like she attracts monsters at night and all that kind of stuff because she's powerful. And she could do the Maleficer magic, but like she has like a very she has very strong magic, and she could really mess people up, but yeah, like her mom taught her not to. But basically she's like the outcast at this school, and she's just trying to like survive her studies. And then there's like a dude that he's like made it his whole thing to be like the opposite of her, to be like, I'm gonna save everybody and da 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 da, and he's kind of a dumbass. But everybody likes him, and so he's like in a little shared like group where they can like share mana and stuff and all that. And so you know, it's handy in the school to like have a group for like safety, because the school itself is so dangerous. It's crazy to me that people send their kids here, but you know, and you're supposed to like study real hard and shit, and then like, but then not die from all the stuff that can kill you. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a trial by fire. but like through this character's lens, it's kind of, it started off kind of funny, and then the more you find out, it's like kind of sad and kind of like and more serious. But I feel like she's a good like narrator for this kind of thing. So we're gonna see, because I think this is a trilogy. But yeah, it's a little bit different than I thought it was gonna be. But not in a bad way. So yeah, we're gonna see. So far, she's doing really good about not doing any of that stuff, but at the same time she gets accused of it a lot. I don't know, people like I guess know that she can do it, but she's holding back. She's holding back a lot, even though people are frustrating as hell with this at this school. But then I also, as promised, I did finally start Vows in Ruins, and like I'm kind of having a little bit of a hard time getting into this one because just the romance is kind of bullshitty. At this point, I just kind of feel like it's some bullshit. Like how, like, I mean, I'm still at the very very beginning, but like the romance just feels like bullshit. It's just like immediately we're already like rethinking everything and stuff, and I'm just, they get on my nerves. I feel like it's gonna be one of those like push and pull type things with the romance, and but like at the same time it never had to be, I feel like. So I don't know. We're gonna see how it continues and like the rest of the plot, because so far this romance is not doing it for me, but you know, the world plot still has a chance. So we're gonna see. But yeah, so that's where that's at. And so, yeah, we're doing a lot of reading. A lot of reading. Okay, so, if you haven't noticed, my hair is purple now. You know, I want to try a different one. I had already thought I was going to go purple whenever I decided to do that Halloween stuff, and then, yeah, we changed our minds. So there's that. My hair is purple now. I got one of those camera reverse things. I don't know, those screens, so I can see what my phone is doing from the back camera, so that way hopefully this quality is better. And so we're gonna see. It should look a little nicer now. At least from this clip on, if I can manage to do this right. So anyways, I have read 6 Scorched Roses yesterday, and this was really good. I liked it. This made me excited to read some more today, because like, man, I feel like I've been kind of slumpy, but I'm into this. This was a good little short book. Like, I got so invested, and I feel like it invested me to the level that books as short tend to not do, because they're so short and it usually takes more time. But like this felt really good, and so I gave it a good rating, and now I'm really excited to continue on with this series. Anyways, yeah, so I'm really excited to continue with this a series, and so did I put a hold on the next one? It turns out my library doesn't have like the second book in the series physically for some reason, but anyways, probably that means in March we'll be continuing on with that one. But I also finished over here. I also finished The Deadly Education, and let me tell you, I feel like I can't even describe all the shit that's going on in this book. It's like I would say it's more like kids are in school. They're in magic school, right? Except there's no teachers and there's none of that. And it's basically like a self-study program, except you can die in this building and they have to maintain the building. And I don't know how this stays organized, honestly, with like, it's confusing. It's confusing, but I'm into it because it's like the stakes are kind of high because you could die, but then also they're like dealing with, you know, the standard college stuff of like trying to get used to dealing with their peers and trying to get, like, some people want to get into enclaves so that way they can be like power sharing and safe whenever they get out from the school. So it's also for like networking and just like it's like a complicated mess. So that's interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna continue this series because I like the main character in this, and I feel like she being the main character makes it much better. Otherwise, like, I wouldn't be so into this. Honestly, like, it really depends heavily on the main character being like the shit, basically. And she's good. She's good because like she's going through it. She's been dealing with some shit, but like her personality is just good. So I'm gonna continue with that. And I think there's 2 more books, and my library has them, so I'm gonna probably pick those up soon. And then now that I finished that and I read the other one, I decided it was finally time to start God of Pain. Although we might have to do the first update for this in the next book because, I mean, the next vlog, because I think, yeah, I think I should wrap this vlog up now actually because this one's kind of long. But yeah, so I read Glint, I read this. What else did I read in this vlog? I don't know. I've been going for a while, but you know, the reading train does not stop. But I think we're gonna end the vlog here now that I've tested out my new equipment. And you've seen that my hair is purple, so you know, I don't know. I think I like the purple more than I liked the pink. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it fades and stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited. But anyways, there you have it. Catch y'all next time.